Good morning, students. So today I've come up with a new concept, Precis writing. I think your people are well aware of Precis writing. We are doing it from our, from our school days itself. It is very important. On the other hand, it is very, very difficult, to take this particular activity called Precis writing. So we'll go ahead with it. Precis writing. So what is Precis writing? It's a concise version of a larger text. Writing briefly about the long context which you have taken. It's a long, when you take a long piece, it is not the gist or summary, students, but it is the detailed or a brief way of writing something from taking from the longer text. Okay, so you should a preci is, it should be maintained, it should be 1/3 of the original text. That this is the rule which you have to remember. Okay, so when you look at the particular preci, you should be able to grasp the main ideas or points. See, when you're cutting short, see, preci is not cutting down the sentences, it is writing or adding the new ideas or the good, the existing important ideas which are already there in that particular context, but in a brief way you're explaining it, using concise, less words, but the meaning should be the same. Okay, now skills developed while writing a preci. What are the skills which you can develop, when you're writing this preci activity? It helps understand substance of lengthy texts. So when you convert that into a preci writing, you can grasp or you can remember the main ideas existing in that particular preci. This will be very useful when you're really preparing for your exams. Lengthy answers, you cut short them with the main points, and you can remember those points and you can enlarge them. Okay, so it develops the ability, to summarize the main points. It distinguishes between the important, more important, and less important. And sometimes we are, just carried away, exaggerating something. So those irrelevant ideas, repetition of sentences can be, avoided when you're, using this particular activity called preci writing. Okay, and you'll also come to know how to organize, how to sequence the information step by step, or in which order you would like to organize them, you would like to remember them. Okay, so it also helps you to use the right word in the right place. Instead of using phrases, you can use the correct word which gives the meaning of that particular phrase. Okay, so these are the skills developed when you're really doing this activity. Now, what are the steps? When preci activity is given for your exams, what exactly you should do? You should read the text once or twice. So you understand that particular text. You should know the gist or the summary of that particular paragraph. Okay. Read once again to get the supporting details. What are the main ideas? What ideas I need to include? What I can leave, the irrelevant details. Write down those main ideas in your own words. Okay, and then check, did you miss any main idea? So these are the steps which you should do. What is the gist? Okay, what are the main ideas? Writing them in your own words and cross check with the original text. Okay, next, so when you start writing the preci, make sure that the ideas follow logically. So how exactly it is there in the main text, you should not see, as I told you, preci is not removing the sentences or removing the words. The idea should be retained. Certain words should be retained, but in a logical way, you are cutting them. Repetitive sentences, repetition of words, exaggerating something, irrelevant material. You are removing all that. Okay. Next, the same thing. It should be in third person, students. It should not be in first person or second. It should always be in third person. Some precedes the demand for a title also. Okay. Next, once again, we'll brush up with what are the tips for writing precis, which should be 1/3 of the actual paragraph. You should not change the main idea of the paragraph. You should retain the main idea. It is only removing the irrelevant information. Okay. Sometimes when you're writing precis, as I told you, first of all, you write in your own words, but when you're cross-checking with the main paragraph or the main context, you have to retain certain words which are given in the main text. So use the same words. Okay, so don't count the words saying that because I have cut short in these words, that's why it's a very good preci. No, count the lines. How many lines I could reduce, and how could I retain the meaning as it is? And always remember that Precis should be only in one single paragraph. Paragraph itself is single. Okay, so avoid the weak sentences, irrelevant information as much as possible. Common mistakes what we do. So sometimes, we give our personal opinion after reading that particular paragraph. Don't do that. You have to go with the read author's idea itself. Okay, do not use any kind of idiom of your own or a phrase of your own. That is again wrong. Do not conclude anything. So whatever is given in that, you have to retain the same idea. Okay, never assume anything. You're not here to critically assess that particular paragraph. You're just, cutting short, if any repetitive sentences are there, if anything you can avoid, if anything you can change, like, proper nouns, this and that, here and there. So that is all which you have to check, but don't give any conclusions, don't give any idiomatic expressions, using your own ideas when writing a Precis. These points are very, very, and people commonly do these mistakes. Okay. So what is Precis not? So what do you call something not as a Precis? Simply writing the summary is not a Precis, students. Writing an abstract is not a Precis. It is not an outline of the passage. Okay. It is not, selecting few important sentences from the passage. It is not, the collection of disconnected facts and statements. So as I told you, the meaning should retain, the idea should be the same, but you should see any cliches, redundancies, repetitions, the same idea, something between the lines. So whatever you've understood, you have to go ahead with it, but not, writing the gist of that particular paragraph. Okay. So features of good Precis, once again, we will go ahead. The clarity should be maintained. It should be very brief. That is very, very important. It is not lifting sentences from the original, but, putting them, concising them, but retaining that particular meaning of that particular paragraph. Okay. It is a miniature of the original passage. You have to remember that. It comes from that. Okay. It should be in a well logical manner, just connected, just like the original paragraph. It should have good coherence. The meaning should not be changed. Linking devices should be there, therefore, hereafter. Okay. So you follow the ideas of the original text. For example, it is given from less important to more important. You should go with the same particular organizing that particular Precis also. Okay. It must have a title sometimes, it must not contain the details, or you don't give any conclusion for that particular paragraph. These are all very, very important. I've given a small example. You can just, quickly move your eyes. How I've cut short in, 5 lines of this particular paragraph into 2 lines. So it is not as easy as it is, but still, practice makes man perfect. So in the next session, we'll go with an exercise under Precis writing, so that you will have, more chance to improve. What are the points which I have referred, how to, place them while writing this activity. Thank you.